The purpose of a road is to create a path from point A to point B. Simple. However, when it comes to planning a road, you may start at point A, but you never actually get to point B. That is because point B is always changing. That may explain why we are always replanning our 20-year transportation plans every 4 years or so. Before 1960, Utah officials had never thought of the concept of long-range transportation planning. When you needed a road, you built it. Simple. But as the Wasatch Front started to grow rapidly, it became harder to plan out transportation corridors, let alone build them as the valleys of northern Utah were starting to fill in. So in the summer of 1960, the Utah Department of Transportation and the local elected officials along the Wasatch Front committed to design the first long-range transportation plan that would carry the needs of the population to 1980. By 1970, it was obvious that the 1960 plan wasn't going to work. So we adopted a new plan to take us to 1995, which needed to be redesigned by 1980. The 10th plan was adopted in 2015 to get us to 2040, and the plan to take us to 2050 should be done by next year. So why is transportation so hard to plan for? Well, for one, people don't always decide to live where you think they're going to. At one time, it was assumed that population growth was going to happen on the east side of the valleys and the west side would be agricultural. So roads were built in a north-south pattern on the east side. Growth changed and planning had to adapt. Now there are more miles of east-west traffic arteries than north-south. Similar things happened in other areas of the state. Another reason is resources. At one point, gas was cheap and abundant. Now, not so much. The idea of commuting from suburbia seemed like a good lifestyle until gas costs and traffic congestion turned it into a nightmare. Air quality has also had an impact on how we move about. Road design, car design, and improvements in public transportation have also changed how people choose to get around. When those choices change, then the planning has to change as well. Finally, there's population. Since 1960, we have been adding to our population at about the rate of 1 million every 20 years. That rate of growth is about to jump 50% between now and 2040. With this kind of growth, more of the same will not work to our best interest. More roads and more cars and more commuting will have bad consequences. Yet no one wants to be forced out of their cars. So, for it to work, we will have to find ways to make alternatives a more convenient and pleasant way to move around. And to do that, we need to keep planning. The good thing about it is that Utah has a unique system of planning that starts at the community through local governments and works up. With that effort, we're able to look at all transportation, so we can adjust the mix of bike, pedestrian infrastructure, public automated or valet travel in our forward vision of the brave new world. Perhaps even including where and how we build homes in relation to where we work and play. Chad has just the people standing by to explore these topics. For the county seat, I'm Maria Rossi Booth.